How we doing, guys? Welcome back. This is the second video today. Sorry it's taking me so long. Busy day. Looks like tomorrow we're gonna have a times 10 chance on all these champions here. April 14th, times 10 chance, and let's talk about the new of the new. Right? So we're gonna have a times 10 chance on voids for this chick here, Claidna. She is a Sylvan Watcher support champion. She's HP. Her entire kit basically is built around anti-Sand Devil. So if like you put her and Harima on a team against Sand Devil, you'd probably be able to take down any stage. It's just going to take a while. But let's just look at her A1. Touch of Slumber, attacks an enemy, 50% chance, books to 70 of sleep. Fills a champion's turn meter by 15% if the sleep debuff is placed. Right, so her A1 places sleep. Okay, Sand Devil. Lost in the Woods, which I do like these titles here. That she's got going on. Lost in the Woods. 4-turn, books to a 3-turn cooldown, books to 100% chance of playing decreased speed, and a leech debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Also heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. Right? So she is an HP based champion, and her damage is based on HP. She only has one ability that does damage. This is her A1, so it doesn't really matter. Right here, Otherworld Infusion. Places block debuffs and revive on death on all allies for 2 turns, books to a 3-turn cooldown. Now here's a cool thing, right? This revive on death is for 2 turns. That's pretty neat. And then her passive, Fey Monarch, right? Which is hurting me in my soul because I called Ruella Queen of the Fey. Now I gotta fucking change that, but whatever. Fey Monarch passive. Looks like it books to a 60% chance of completely blocking the incoming damage on the first hit of an attack. Occurs once per turn. So she's kind of got this mixed bag of, she's got, you could honestly run her in a Phoenix team or Clan Boss, right? That's another option that you have for her. Phoenix teams are not very good, though. They're very much outdated. They used to be okay at best, but there's just better rares even now that do so much more. Her entire kit is just against the Sand Devil. Sand Devil coming in, smacking you a whole bunch. She reduces it. Has a 60% chance of, making it not happen. She puts decreased speed on the Sand Devil and Leech so you can heal. She has a chance to sleep him. She puts Revive on Death and block debuff, so if you guys get wiped out, they come right back and the Sand Devil takes a nap. Her base stats, she's HP, so this is good here. Attack obviously low. Defense is very decent at 13.54. Speed 100. Resistance and accuracy, that's about par for the course for somebody that is not a support champion, but is essentially a support champion. But they just wanted to give her an HP moniker. The next one, actually, which I'm interested in, but obviously I told you I'm not pulling. It's going to be for the guy I missed out on. I actually do regret this. It's the Staltus Dragonbane. He is amazing in Arena. He's amazing against Hard Dragon. You can take him, and he can solo Hard Dragon, just the boss itself, on 10. Right? You get your whole team there. Staltus is in like double stone skin, and he just kills the boss. Boss kills itself, essentially. He's like that Spider-Man meme where he's like, no, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's go over Staltus's abilities quick. Axe of Glories is A1, hits an enemy twice, targets under any debuff. Each hit decreases the target's turn meter by 10%. Obviously can't happen against the dragon. His Drake Hunter Tactics, it's a 3-turn win book cooldown, and this book's up to a 75% chance of placing stun for 1 turn. He attacks all enemies twice, right? And by the way, he's a defensive-based nuker, so his damage comes from his survivability, which is always a wonderful thing. There was a big shift in the arena meta where you saw a ton of defensive-based nukers. Soulless, this guy, and there was a couple others. I'd have to figure them out, but Valkyrie, she can hit pretty hard. Krisk. And let's look here. Dragonheart, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way. Dragonheart is his A3. It books to a 4-turn cooldown. Places decreased defense or increased defense on this champion for 3 turns and attacks everyone, so he gives himself a damage buff. This book's up to 100% chance of placing decreased crit damage for 2 turns on enemies whose attack is higher than their defense. And then has a 100% chance of placing decreased speed for 2 turns on enemies whose attack is equal to or lower than their defense. None of that really matters. He just hits hard. Okay? And then this is his passive, which allows him to actually kill the dragon very easily. Untarnished. Whenever an enemy attempts to place weaken, decrease defense, or poison debuff on this champion, he reflects them back on the attacker. Damage increases by 5% for each debuff on the target. Okay, so the dragon fills up with all the debuffs, right? Goes up to 10. 10 times 5, 50% increased defense, 50% increase in damage dealt to the dragon. So he's kind of like a bad Alcazar passive mixed in that way, where the more debuffs on them, the more damage you're going to deal. He has very good base stats. He's a defensive base nuker, so you're looking at 14,554 for defense. HP is very good at 20, attack low obviously, resistance 30, accuracy 10, crit rate 15, crit damage 63%. He's great. I actually do regret not getting him as a guaranteed. One of the very few guarantees I regret not getting. Lex 1 is going to be another one that, if you could be interested, she's very good in Arena and Doom Tower and Hydra. She's very good in a lot of places. This is Lady Kimi here. She's one of the fastest champions in the game because of her base speed here and everything that she does. Her A1, Lady's Touch, attacks an enemy, then attacks the enemy with the highest turn meter. Will attack the same enemy twice if the initial target also has the highest turn meter. The second hit has a 50% chance, books up to 60, of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. Okay. Flurry of Petals. These two abilities here are amazing on her. Attacks all enemies, 100% chance when booked at a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Decrease accuracy and decrease speed for 2 turns. 100% chance of decreasing each target's turn meter by 15%. Pretty good. Spirit Flux. It books to a 4-turn cooldown, and it's a 100% chance when booked. She will remove 1 random buff from each enemy, then place block buffs for 2 turns on enemies who have buffs removed, and then also fills the turn meters of all allies by 15% and places 50% increased accuracy and increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. Right here, Imperious is her passive. Whenever this champion places a debuff on an enemy, also decreases that enemy's turn meter by 5% for each debuff placed. Pretty good. Whenever this champion or an ally receives a debuff, fills their turn meter by 5% for each debuff received. Right? She's very much a turn meter manipulator. She's lovely. Her aura is big speed increase here, 30% in Doom Tower, which I do use her in. I might end up swapping her out one day and just putting her in a full arena build. Her base stats are amazing, 115 speed, resistance is 30, accuracy 10. The next one we have up on the list here is going to be Countess Lix. Now, I don't remember if she was a guaranteed champion or not. I actually think she was. And I did go for her, and she was very much worth it. Countess Lix is an attack champion, but she does hit hard. She has good multipliers. But her kit, she excels at controlling the enemy team. Okay, so her A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, books up to a 50% chance of placing weaken for 2 turns. Okay, her A2 is Mire of Misery, books to a 4-turn cooldown and has a 100% chance. She'll attack all enemies 3 times. She will place decreased speed for 2 turns. Each hit also has a 100% chance of decreasing the enemy's turn meter by 10%. Right. And right here, time dilation. So this is like a mini Kymar, and I really do love this ability. Because it acts as like a mini Kymar, and also acts as kind of like a Bellower, you know, the Void Rare. Attacks all enemies, 100% chance when booked at a 5-turn cooldown when booked to place block active skills for 2 turns. Also decreases the cooldowns of all ally skills except this champion's by 1 turn. That's great. It's amazing. And then her passive here, Unredeemed, removes 1 random debuff from Astralon and this champion at the start of each turn. Only available if Astralon is on the team. Her other passive is Channel Woe. Fills the champion's turn meter by 5% each time an ally receives a debuff. So this whole times 10 is really focusing around like turn meter manipulation and all that kind of fun stuff, right? Yeah, I love Countess Lix. She's great. I don't really use her anymore. I use her on Faction Wars 21 during CVC, and that's about it. Next one is going to be Tuhak the Wanderer. Now, this guy's great. He's Orcs. If you have him, he's a great arena nuker. He's actually kind of the poster child for Raid. He was actually shown in Raid art for like a year and a half, or about a year before he was even in the game, which is kind of cool. He's actually the one over the arena. Let's just take a look here quick. He is actually the one. Get out of here. Right here. This is Tuhak the Wanderer, and he's been there forever. It's kind of cool. Grab that. So Tuhak the Wanderer, he's an epic Void champion, and he's actually very good. Okay, he's an attack base. He has A1 unfair fight. He attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has booked to a 40% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target skills by a turn at random. Increases the cooldowns of all the target skills by 1 turn instead if this champion has less than 50% HP when attacking on each hit. His A2, Whirl of Battle. This books to a 3-turn cooldown and 100% chance. He will attack all enemies, placing 30% decreased speed for 2 turns, and it also places 30% increased speed on himself for 2 turns. Kills his champion by 50% of the damage inflicted if they have less than 50% HP when attacking. Cool. His A3, Clever Brutality. Attacks one enemy, steals 50% of the target's current turn meter. Has a 100% chance when booked of placing stun. Steals 100% of the target's turn meter if this champion has less than 50% HP. So, if he has less than 50% HP, he's going to place stun for 2 turns on the person and then take their entire turn meter. So, it can almost be an effective like 2.5 to 3 turn lockout on a single target. It's pretty cool. And then his passive is Ironheart. Decreases the damage taken by this champion by 20% when their HP drops below 60%. He has an aura that increases ally attack in all battles by 22%, which is actually very good, especially for an epic. His base stats are fine. His attack's a little low, but he is a void epic. He's not a legendary. And let's look at our other. Looks like we have 3 more. So you may know this lady because she can do something that only very few champions can do. And she can solo Bommel. And it's because of her passive, and we'll get into it. Lady Annabelle, Miss Titties is what I like to call her. She is supposed to be based on that noble woman that bathed in virgin blood. She was like that vampire dealio. I just thought of her the other day and I had it in my head. Now it's gone. But her A1 is Covetous Nails. Attacks an enemy 2 times each hit. Heals his champion by 3% of their max HP. Her A2 is Captivator. Books to a 3-turn cooldown and books to a 100% chance. She attacks all enemies. She will put Leech on them for 2 turns and also has a 100% chance of placing decreased speed for 2 turns on targets with less than 50% turn meter. Okay. Sanguine Exchange is her A3. It's a 4-turn cooldown when booked. She will swap HP with a target ally. If this champion's HP is equal to or higher than the target's after the swap, places Revive on Death on the target ally for 2 turns. If this champion's HP is lower than the target's after the swap, places Revive on Death on this champion for 2 turns. So if they're lower, they get Revive on Death. If she's lower, she gets Revive on Death. Makes sense? She will also place increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. Okay? And then her passive, the Red Lady, heals this champion by 50% of their max HP whenever an ally or an enemy dies. So when Bommel's bombs go off, she heals by 50% of her max HP. And she's got great base right here, HP at 20,000, right? And she's not even labeled as an HP champ. Her damage is still done off attack, but she can get there, right? You put her in Immortal, you put her in Regen, boom, you're done. Great. Mwah, marvelous. Yeah, I love the aesthetic of this lady. Yes, very poignant. Let's see here. Okay, Ruella. I think she's a Sylvan Watcher. Yep, here she is, Ruella. She is very cool. This girl just is a multi-hitter of a multi-hitter. Her A1 is her Harassment Volley. Attacks an enemy 3 times. Each critical hit has a 100% chance when booked of stealing 5% of the target's turn meter. Her A2 is No Respite. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 50, looks like 60, 70% chance of placing decreased defense, weaken, and decreased speed for 2 turns on 1 target. So her kit so far, and she is pretty much a Fire Knight champion. She'll help you out there. And then Timed Offensive is her A3. Books to a 3-turn cooldown, fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%, and places big increased crit rate on allies for 2 turns. And then she comes in with an aura for all dungeons by 40 increase for accuracy. Very cool. Her base speed is actually very good, especially for an attack champion. It's 112. Crit rate 15, crit damage 50, resistance 30, accuracy 0. Attack is a bit low, but like I said, they're not legendaries, so it is what it is. She's really cool looking. She's got like this dragon's wing on her backs, and she's got like dragon's horn and fangs and stuff draped all over. So she's kind of like telling you, she knows what she's doing, buddy. All right, this bitch don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? And then our last one, who is an amazing champion, I've gone over him many times. He's back up here in Bannerlords. It's Stag Knight. Where you at, buddy? I've told the history of Stag Knight before. Like, he was the best champion out of the first and only ever will be champion battle pass that they ever did back in the day. Stag Knight, he is a support, but he can actually hit decently hard on his A1 and his A2. Spot Quarry is his A1, attacks an enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance when booked to placing big decreased speed. His A2 is Huntmaster. Books to a 3-turn cooldown and 100% chance. Puts decreased defense and decreased attack on all enemies. And then his passive places increased accuracy on an ally for a turn. Each time the ally has a debuff resisted by an enemy. Not blocked, resisted. Base speed's decent, 107. He has poop attack. So it is hard to try and get him to actually really hit hard because you have to really crank that attack up. But Stag Knight is still an MVP. I still use mine on occasion for like special tournaments and events and stuff. I do believe I am still using him in Faction Crypt. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Guys, that's it for the time sense going to happen tomorrow. Me personally, I'm saving my shards. I don't need any of those guys. I would like Staltus Dragonbane. And I did in the last 2 summoning events get the ×10 non-void legendaries, even though I didn't want the first one, and I was kind of okay with getting my 4th Valk. But I wouldn't pull. This is a bait. I have a feeling something is coming next Tuesday. Definitely, probably next Tuesday. They're going to do a guaranteed, or it's going to be on Monday or Wednesday. It's going to be the middle of the week. You know how they like to play the game. So I would hold on to your shards till then. But until then, everybody, I want you to have a wonderful weekend. You take care of yourselves. Remember, use your noodle out there, and I love you. God bless, and goodbye.